With the first pick of the 2017 Sports Scene Draft, I'm taking Alexa Palermo.
Thank you.
Alexa, you ready to get right into the war room, put your GM hat on, and talk NFL Draft?
Always wanted to, so I'm very excited.
Perfect. So the draft begins Thursday in Philadelphia, and we have right here 8 headshots of the 8 former USC football players that were invited to the Combine this year. So I want to take you day by day and give me an update on to where you think they'll fall. So let's start day 1, Thursday.
Day 1, Thursday, I'm going to Dory. Adoree will actually be in Philly, and so I think it can go first round, but I think we're going to see him bottom of the first round. I can see him going to the Saints with that 32nd pick. And so the Saints were dead last in their pass defense last season, and so I think adding him to their secondary is really going to help them out. He's a very versatile player, which can also help them out on many other aspects, but I can definitely see him going to the Saints, 32nd pick.
And obviously the Adoree charisma fits right in with New Orleans, and Sean Payton really likes those aggressive type corners, so I could see that really playing out. But now we're shaping into day 2. That means Friday. We're seeing rounds 2 and 3. Do we have any of these guys coming off the board?
Yeah, I mean, I think once you get down lower, I mean, round 2, I could probably see Juju. The problem with Juju is he's either overrated or underrated, and I can never decide which it actually is. He can be seen, I think the problem that a lot of GMs and teams are having is that he can be seen very immature. He loves to have a great time on the field, which is great for us to watch, but some of the GMs think he's immature. He is the youngest in the draft this year, so maybe that is also contributing to the problem, but he is super talented after a catch. So he's a very physical runner, and I can see him going to someone like the Colts, where they like their players to play double duty, kind of. Like they drafted Andrew Luck as quarterback and linebacker, and then I can see him doing wide receiver and linebacker at the same time. So you never know.
And obviously physicality kind of goes hand in hand with Juju Smith-Schuster. Had the hand surgery and came back the very next week. So he's been able to play through zombie Juju status. And the Colts' Pierre Garçon kind of has that same build, the height, the speed. So I kind of like that matchup. But we still have a few guys left on the board here, and we're getting towards the end of the draft.
So once it gets towards the end of the draft, you're kind of stuck with maybe their teams are just filling spots, like they're not getting those big names. But I think a big name that will go day 3 is Banner. Zach is extremely talented, but the one thing that he has really going for him is his very large frame. He's 6'9", 350 pounds now, and teams are looking for that on their outside of their lines. And I can see him going to the Giants, who are looking to beef up the guards and the tackles, and he's actually played at both. I think one of the great things that he's been doing lately is he's been all around town kind of advertising himself. We've seen him all the time on Fox Sports, and he's always out on Twitter doing different things for different people. And I think that's going to give him a leg up over Damian and Chad, as maybe in the later rounds they're really looking to fill out that line, and like the first person that comes to mind will probably be Zach. And
a big frame, it's hard to go without saying Zach Banner, one of the biggest guys playing in college football last year. But we still see 5 guys here on the board. So we're saying there's going to be 5 USC players going undrafted?
I would hope not, honestly. I think one of the people there's 2 wild cards out here. I'm going to start with Stevie T. Stevie T can either go day 3 or day 2. I'm probably going to put him here at day 3. Coming as a grad transfer from Utah really upped his draft stock. He was the defensive MVP at the Rose Bowl, which is really nothing to snuff at, and he was great at that nose tackle position. So I think that a theme in this draft is defense. Defense wins championships, and Myles Garrett is up for the possible number 1 draft act. So I think defense is really what a lot of teams are focusing on, and if they're looking to beef up their line, Stevie T is where they should go.
And the Rose Bowl defensive MVP, nothing to snuff at. Obviously, from a nose tackle, you want him to snuff the ball at the line of scrimmage too. So obviously he helped his status both in his combine workouts and his pro day workouts, being able to get over 20 reps during pro day on the bench, and then also having quick feet. So I think that puts us at 4 guys being drafted out of this status. We mentioned the wild cards. I could also see Damian Mama coming off the board and falling down in the later rounds when teams like to go for the offensive linemen just to bolster the roster.
Exactly, yeah. And my other wild card is Justin Davis. There's so many talented running backs in this draft that he could get lost and not be drafted, or someone could need a running back in the late rounds and take him after all the really great ones have been taken. So with him, I'm not really sure.
Very nice. Well, I think that's a pretty excellent first round in the war room there, Alexa.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for staying here. But you heard it from Alexa, but you may as well hear it from the guys actually getting their names called in Philadelphia. And with that is Aaron Siegel.